What's up, everybody? I'm David Hain. Welcome to episode 161 of the A to D from Addict to Disciple podcast. I'd like to give a big shout out to our new listeners from Namibia and Northern Ireland. That brings our total to 61 countries. If you want to help us reach more people in more countries, subscribe, follow, and share the link with your friends, or click on the support link in this episode's description. Your donation of any amount could change a life. If you'd like to get our curriculum, you can get the paperback or ebook of From Ashes to Destiny on Amazon. When we come back, we'll get into this episode entitled, All Things Must Pass. Welcome back to episode 161 of the A to D from Addict to Disciple podcast entitled, All Things Must Pass. This week's episode comes from comments that I've gotten in the past couple of weeks from listeners talking about things they're holding on to, things they're clinging to, and struggling to find a way to process it and a way to let go. So I'm going to look at this topic of all things must pass from several angles. And I'm going to use three different phrases. The first one is, it has come to pass. Come to pass means to happen. It is often used when someone is trying to sound wise, spiritual, or authoritative. At least that's what the dictionary says as a definition of this phrase. And come to pass is sometimes phrased as all things come to pass. So I guess it's seen as an indication that what is happening is the result of a course of events. And another way I've heard people voice this is that everything happens for a purpose. In religious circles, the view is that God has a purpose for all things, and he intended or allowed the bad things in our life to happen. And if we get the sense of foreboding, so to speak, that something bad is coming, to the point that our only hope now is to pray that these dire predictions will not come to pass, but could only be avoided somehow, maybe by grace. And often we live life knowing that these things will eventually happen no matter what. Is that you? Is that how you think and live your life? Let's look at that phrase again. It has come to pass. This time I'll put a comma after the word come. So now it reads, it has come to pass. Wow, that's a pause that changes everything in the meeting. It implies I should allow it to pass. All things come to pass. I should allow all things that come my way to pass. That I should hold on to them as a blessing for today, but not as a permanent thing. I guess I should begin to think about things that I'm holding on to, and I would challenge you to begin to think about the things you're holding on to. Are you supposed to let them go and let them pass? Matthew Flickstein, a teacher of insight and meditation, says, everything comes to pass. Nothing comes to stay. So can we get that phrase, all things come to pass? Can we begin to let them pass? And with that in mind, the second phrase I want to look at today is, the only constant is change. This is credited to the Greek philosopher Heraclitus around 500 BC. With this idea that the only constant in life is change. And Plato once said, and I quote, Heraclitus, I believe, says that all things pass and nothing stays. And comparing existing things to the flow of a river, he says you could not step twice into the same river. Wow, that's deep. Can you live your life that sort of each day, even though you may be stepping into a river that you think is the same, there's water that's gone downstream. There's water that's passed under the bridge. There's new fish in the river that weren't there the day before. There's things been stirred up. There's all kinds of change in the river of life. And are you still willing to step into a river of life that's constantly changing? Have you lived your life afraid of change? It's really a fear of the unknown, I guess, rather than a fear of change. That it's more comforting to know and embrace the good and the bad that you know is coming than it is to let go and see the unknown. What would it feel like to let go of this negative situation you're stuck in emotionally? Could it give you the freedom to walk into a new, healthier, freer you, to swim in that new river every day? I think the key is to look at our circumstances and let them refine you, not redefine you. Too often something bad happens and we allow that to redefine us as a person. We do this by clinging to the pain, the shame, the anger, the regret. Whatever emotion that we're feeling actually is reshaping us. And our friends and family can see it, but we cannot hear their words of advice, comfort, or compassion because we're afraid of change. And we refuse to embrace that the only constant in life is change. The third phrase that I want to look at is, this too shall pass. Remember, when things are going well, to take time to enjoy them to the fullest. And when they're bad, realize that it won't last forever. So you have to not let that define you, because this too, pause, shall pass. Expect bad times to come and go. So live in a way to let them pass. Don't cling to the bad. That's like choosing constipation, if I can say so. Don't take the good for granted either. Pause, breathe in deeply, and let them bring life to revitalize every part of you, your mind, body, and soul, and know that they too shall pass. Alan Coren, an English humorist and writer, wrote, "Enjoy your life today, because yesterday had gone and tomorrow may never come." Wow, you see how that catches that phrase, this too shall pass. Enjoy your life today, because yesterday has gone and tomorrow may never come. Can you say this too shall pass and believe it? And when you say that it doesn't mean things will return to the way they used to be. It means a new day is coming. You'll be at a new enjoyment of this river that keeps changing. Can you make this too shall pass, or the title of this episode, All Things Must Pass, a mantra that you repeat? That it keeps you concentrated on the message that it brings. Can you find comfort and reassurance in the fact that all things must pass, and this thing that I'm clinging on to now also shall pass? Can it keep you from spiraling into anxiety and depression? And I realize that it may be painful. The things we have to allow to pass may pass like a kidney stone, but they will pass if we let go. You don't have to face or endure them alone. You don't have to endure the pain alone. We can reach out to our support system and realize and learn how to not cling to things that are growing into kidney stones of pain inside of us. In closing, I'd like to quote some words from the lyrics of George Harrison's song, All Things Must Pass. Sunrise doesn't last all morning. A cloudburst doesn't last all day. It's not always going to be this gray. All things must pass. All things must pass away. None of life's strings can last. So I must be on my way and face another day. Now the darkness only stays the nighttime. In the morning it will fade away. Daylight is good at arriving at the right time. It's not always going to be this gray. All things must pass. All things must pass away. Can you hear the wisdom in those words? It's not always going to be this gray. All things must pass. And can you embrace that idea of change that says, as George Harrison said, none of life's strings can last. All things must pass. Thanks for listening to this episode of the A to D From Addict to Disciple podcast. If you would like to join an online group or get one-on-one counseling to help you let those things pass, please message me on the link in this podcast or by email at davidfromatod@gmail.com, or go to my website, www.fromatod.org, and click on the contact page. You can keep in touch with what we're doing in From A to D by following me on Instagram at davidfromatod. For our Spotify listeners, you can leave your comments by clicking on the link they provide on that platform. Tune in Monday for our next episode, and as always, stay safe and stay strong.